Hi guys, this is Mila Michelle Smidt from France. I'm 27 years old and I'm a French professional wrestler. We are together in the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. This week, I am so excited. We've got a little international twist coming to the show. We have a woman who has made quite a name for herself, not only in her home country of France, but also all across Europe since starting her career in 2016. She's beautiful. She's a badass. She could probably kick all of our asses. She is Miss Mila Smidt. Mila, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain, right? Nobody wants to hear it anyway. But I want to jump into it. I want to start with something super topical. How are you feeling? I saw on TikTok recently you had an unfortunate back injury. How's the back feeling?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm going back slowly but surely. I'm doing my recovery right now. I'm on recovery process. So I see like physical therapist, and I can go back to the gym. I can't lift weight yet, but like I just make progress every day, so all good. And it was so stupid, it was just like you know how it happens. Like first start, like I started having like back issues or like pain, like 1 year, 1.5 years ago. So I knew eventually, I was gonna get hurt. But you know how it happens? It's just me moving in my bed because of my cat. Like not even in the ring. Not I risk my life every week in that ring, like several times a week. But no, it had to happen like this. And then now I had to like a lumbago. I don't know if that's the word in English as well, but it's like muscular basically. It's no fracture, nothing's broken. So it's not a big deal. It's just painful. And it's muscular thing, and I did it at the gym again. Like you can see it on my TikTok, as you said. So yeah, every time it's so stupid when it happens.
So you're out there busting your butt in the ring, and then the cat takes you out.
That's
It's a
it. That's
tale.
it. That
It's
was
a
the
tale
two
as old
count.
as time. I love it. Way to put the cat over strong. I appreciate that. Um, for those that might not know who you are, might not have been exposed to you yet, can you tell people a little bit about you and how you kind of got into the business?
Well, I started watching wrestling when I was like 9 or 10 years old. I come from a family who does like Olympic wrestling, so everybody in my family wrestles. It's just not the same kind of wrestling, but like fighting sports were always in my blood. So I always been attracted to it. And when I started watching WWE on TV and I saw all the divas, like super beautiful women, makeup on, hair done, super bright and shiny gears, doing badass stuff and moves and crazy stuff in the ring, I was like, that's the type of woman I want to be. And that's how it started. And then I just kept on going, and now I'm all over the world.
I love that. Yeah, I mean your social media it's interesting because obviously that's how I found you. And I mean you are all over not only Europe, but like you said, the world. Um, what kind of you said you watched wrestling growing up, obviously. What was it that kind of it made it more of a I want to go do this, not as much I want to watch this. You know what I mean? What really gave you that kick in the butt to step into the ring?
Well, as I said, I always been wrestling in my life, so that was just a part of me. And I just told myself, like, okay, that's just a different kind of wrestling. And then I started watching the girls and what they were doing, and there was like, I was training in Olympic wrestling, and I was like, oh, there's some moves that I can do already. Like, I was 10 years old, I was like, I can do that, and I can do this. Not all of them, of course, like the bumps and stuff are not the same, but like that, there was some, Olympic wrestling is a strong base for pro wrestling. And I was like, oh, well, if I train that just a little bit and if I just get really into it, then I can do that. So, yeah, this is how I came with the idea of why not me? You know?
For sure. Absolutely. How hard was that kind of that culture shock almost of switching from a an amateur Olympic style wrestling to professional wrestling?
That was tough at first. Like, let me, you know, that was something. Cause, as I said, like all my cousins and all, my stepdad, granddad, everybody was wrestling, and then the trainers also from my family and everything. And I left home when I was 15 to go in a high level, like a kind of PC, but like for Olympic wrestlers to go to high level and stuff. So I was doing it. I was training every day and stuff, and competing and all that. And so I was really close to getting a national team. And then at the last minute, I was like, I want to be a pro wrestler. Like, I'm not interested. And then into going further and to going to the world or whatever, I was like, I love it, but I need to train for pro wrestling and I want to switch. And then I broke my ACL and I've been to surgery and stuff. And that was the turning point where I thought, like, okay, I don't want to take the risk anymore to get injured and waste time in my career. Cause like I'm not afraid about the pain, like pain never been like something I was afraid of. When you do pro Olympic wrestling, you're just in pain every day and you train in pain. And like pain just becomes like your daily life in a way. Cause it's just, wrestling is painful. That's how it is. And so it wasn't about that. It was just about wasting time because, like, obviously, it was Olympic wrestling. You're not making money. You're not making a living. It's an amateur sport, which is a beautiful sport. I love it. But I was like, I need to think about my future, and I want to be professional. I want to do this as a full-time job. I want to have a real career and stuff. And I was just starting in pro wrestling when I broke my ACL. So I was like, that was the shift for me in my head when I was like, okay, that I'm done. I'm just done with competing. I want to keep on training for myself because I love it and for my physical condition and all that, but I don't want to compete anymore. And yeah, that was difficult to hear for them because there was, I've been training my whole life basically, and I've been doing nationals and all that, and they were like, and it was that cliche as well of oh, but that's not wrestling,
Yeah.
because it's that cliches about pro wrestling that was difficult to understand at first. So it was a bit difficult to make them understand my choice and stuff. But like since then, now they see me professional. They see me, going all over the world, and they see me like having a real career and performing every week and stuff. So they just support me 100% now. It was just really like the first few years because it was, I was just starting. I was a rookie, so it was different.
For sure, for sure. And that was kind of what I was going to ask you next is coming from a family, like you said, of Olympic wrestlers. You want to go over there and, quote unquote, go do that fake stuff. I can't imagine they took that well, but they've since started to support the career now.
Yeah, of course. Like it's always the cliche, especially because like we are in France, like in Europe in general. So the culture about pro wrestling is not the same as in America, for example. So especially back then, like when I started, like almost 10 years ago. Oh, next year will be my 10 years anniversary, by the way. But yeah, so 10 years ago it was going a bit down. We had like a, less crowd, less people interested into pro wrestling. Now it's coming back, obviously, because WWE is coming back to this week in Paris and Lyon and all that since Backlash last year when the crowd was on fire and we have the best crowd in the world. I'm sorry, but but 10 years ago it wasn't like that anymore. So it was, a bit tricky, a bit hard to make them understand that it could be a real job as well, because it wasn't as popular as in America. So, yeah, but it was just, as I said, the first few years because I was starting and they were just unsure about my future, which just makes sense because, it's my family. They care about me and my, well-being and stuff. So, but like since they saw that it's working and I love it and I'm still there, so this, now they support me 100%.
I love that. I love to hear that. Obviously, like you said, you grew up in France and Europe. who were some of the girls, maybe once you made that decision, like, hey, I'm going to be a professional wrestler? Were there some girls in particular that you kind of looked up to or maybe wanted to shape yourself after?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like the woman who made me fall in love with wrestling was Victoria. Like,
Okay.
because to me, she was just standing out completely. And I started watching wrestling, it was like the Divas era. And
Right.
nothing against it. Like, I love to see all the girls, like, everybody has something different to bring on the table. Everybody is unique. But when you see, like, the girls back then, and usually they were like supermodels or coming from cheerleading, gymnastics, whatever. So they were like usually super skinny, model type, and they were awesome. They were beautiful, but it was just not the type of woman I could identify myself to, because I was like, I never been super skinny. I was doing a lot of cutting and stuff with Olympic wrestling, but I always had like strong shoulders, strong hips, big butt and all that. So it was just like, and it's just the thing, that's just the fact. I never
Right.
been the body type to be super skinny. So it was hard for me to really identify myself to girls in general in wrestling, except like girls like Victoria, who were like, like, of course she was like not chubby or not anything, but she was like muscular, that
Yes. Yeah.
fitness type. And I was like, okay, if I train hard enough, I can reach that, or I can like get close to that physique and stuff. And to me, it was like more beautiful than being like skinny. So I was like, as a woman, it was just easy as well to identify myself to her, or like women like Mickey James or Natalia, you know, because they were just a bit more like me.
Right.
And I loved like their style as well in the ring. They were like really different. You could see a lot of backflips and a lot of things like that. And Natty or Victoria, they had more like technical style, Olympic
For
wrestling
sure.
style. And I was like, okay, that's more what I could do as well in the ring.
Absolutely. For sure. Something I wanted to touch on, while I had you, was obviously you've been in this business now since 2016, like you said, coming up on 10 years, and you are no stranger to championship titles. Obviously, just looking at the page of your championships, it's a who's who of European promotions. What does it mean to you? Obviously, we know this is a business. When somebody puts a championship title on you, it's because they have faith in you. What does it mean to you for all these companies to say, "Hey, Mila, we appreciate you and we believe in you"? What does that mean to you?
So yeah, every time like a company like give me, the impression, or give me like a championship, or give me a sign that, they believe in me, it's just so meaningful, especially now, like on the indies right now as a woman, like because the scene is just exploding. And it's such a great time right now to be a woman in wrestling, because 10 years ago it wasn't like that at all. A lot of things changed for the good, for the best. We just need to keep on working really, really hard now to first keep what we have, and then keep on progressing and evolving to get better and better opportunities and stuff from companies. Um, when I first had my, like, the first titles that I had, it was telling them to reward my work. So it was, of course, meaningful, because it was like, okay, great, I'm getting somewhere. Like, I started
Right,
to be noticed and stuff. So it was really meaningful. It was like a sense of accomplishment in a way, about myself. I would say right now is a bit different. Like, it's as meaningful as it was when I started, like when I had the first titles. But now it's, I would say, even more meaningful, because now whenever I get the championship, it's like I get to the office and they just tell me, okay, we put the title because we need you to build a women's division. So it's like I got that on my shoulders, and just knowing that they think that I'm able to do that for them, that's even better than just it's a simple reward as a worker for, like,
right,
what I do in the ring. So
right. For
it's
sure.
so it's really like people don't realize that with a title comes responsibilities, you know. You don't get a title just to show off and be like, oh, I'm the champion, blah, blah. Like, you need to take it as something that, okay, now the real work is starting. So now, like, because it's the man who makes the title, you know? So that's why it's so meaningful, especially when you're the first ever champion to a company. Is now, okay, I need to bring that title somewhere, like to a higher level, and I need to build an entire women's division around it to make people want to see women fighting for this championship. We need to have storylines going on, and we need to build the whole thing to make people happy with the product, you know. So yeah, I would say with time it's more and more meaningful.
Right. I love that answer. Your passion really shows through when you start talking about it. I love that.
Thank you.
Um, and that kind of leads to my next question is, obviously you've worked all over in front of so many different crowds. And obviously, if you don't mention them specifically, this isn't a slight to them. But are there a couple companies that like are just, for lack of a better word, your favorite that you just love going back to?
Oh yeah, like for sure. Like I would say right now one of my favorite, ultimate favorite company to work with on the indies is Unlimited Wrestling in Germany. This is like a second home for me, and you know, I just love every single time I perform there. I love the crowd, I love the team, I love everybody there. Like, I just love the vibe, you know, because they also listen to like the ideas that you can have, and you have so much space for creativity, and you know, you can just like express yourself more than in other places. So I would say, yeah, this is one of my very favorite place. Another one is EWA. It's like Praterkatchen in Austria, you know, where it was in June where Mercedes came to have the championship match for the title against Lex Avallo and myself. It is one of my favorite place to go because again, I love the team, I love everybody there, and it's also like it's such an historic place as well, you know, because it was like it's so old school, and it's so like a place where there's a lot of history and stuff, and I love that. I love that as well with POW back in the days when we used to work with them a lot. Because it's like so full of history. If you know a little bit about European wrestling history, it is so packed of stories, and you know, I love these places when you have a lot of veterans, you know, and how do you say, in the locker room, because you can share so much and you can learn so much just by listening and just by being there and just by watching and just, you know, so, and everybody like is always willing to give you feedbacks and, you know, to make you improve and stuff. So I love those places. Yeah.
For sure. I love that. And you are the queen of segues. I couldn't ask for a better segue. You mentioned, veterans in the locker room, and you specifically mentioned Mercedes Monet. What's it like? I saw on your Instagram that you actually, of course, you got to work with Mercedes, and you actually got to work with
Yeah.
Mickey James at one point.
Yes. Yes.
What's it like working with women that are so accomplished in the business?
It is so wow. Like, you know, it's a bit, you know, Mercedes and Mickey to me were a bit different because Mercedes got, you know, she's that uh iconic and legend right now. She's been like doing so much and stuff, and she got the big hype around her as well, especially right now. Like she always had, but like right now is the time. Um, and so that was more about this was Mercedes. It was like, wow, it's Mercedes. I saw her as well with WWE and stuff, and you know, with a when she started basically with the four horsewomen and stuff, and now to have her in the ring with me, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is amazing. Um, for Mickey, it was more about God. I was looking at her on TV when I was a kid. You know, like she was one of the first I ever watched in the ring. And now to get in the ring with her, it was like, oh my gosh, this is wow, you know? So yeah, both were amazing. Honestly, they're both like sweethearts as person, like so easy to work with, so sweet. Like I enjoyed every second of it. I could wrestle them literally every day. And it's funny because you learn so much, but you learn more. Like it's like sharing the ring with them is just like making you click, your brain click on some things, you know? Like some things that you know already, but it just come to life just by sharing the ring with them, just by looking at them moving in the ring, carrying themselves, like interacting with people and stuff. And for me, it was more about this. It was more about learning on small details that make you go from good to great, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
like those things, because we always say like wrestling is about details. Every detail, like details just make everything and makes the bigger difference. And so sharing the ring with them was like, okay, now I get like those details that'll make me TV ready for sure.
Right.
You know?
Take you to the next level for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good. Like, of course, it's great to have like big names and stuff when you're a rookie or when you've been like few years in the business and stuff. It's like it's nice personally, and you learn about, of course, things. But I think it's even better when you get enough experience already on your own, and you get to a certain point by yourself or by your work for like 10 years or something. I mean, some people is longer, for some people is shorter. It's like everybody is different, but like to get a certain experience in the business before sharing the ring with people like that, because then it just makes you, those detail click and just make you step way forward.
For For sure, for sure. I really think I agree with you 100% that it's like iron sharpens iron. You get in there with the best, you hang with them, it gets you a little bit closer there.
I mean, you can
Um,
only evolve by working with people who are better than you. Otherwise,
a-
you don't make progress.
abs- absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's like iron sharpens iron. Best versus best is, that's when you improve. That's when you get better. Um, who is somebody? Obviously, you've been in the ring in the business for a couple years. There's a plethora of people out there still that you haven't even been able to touch the surface. Who is somebody that is on your bucket list that you're like, before I hang up these boots, I have to step in the ring with this person?
Wow, I have few names already because naming just one is a bit hard, but I want to step in the ring with veterans. I want to step in the ring with people like Mickey, like Mercedes and stuff, but like with this amount of time, in the ring and experience and like if I need to name one, I would say Natalia.
Okay,
Like
there we
I
go.
need to get, in that ring with Natalia. That's for sure.
We need to see that. I do believe that would be pretty good. The giant killer versus the badass version of Natty.
Low key
I think
legend, Natty.
I think we could make some money there.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
So obviously, as we start to round this thing off, what are your short-term goals, and maybe do you have a long-term goal? Like, what's on the list right now of things that you need to get accomplished?
Well, I don't know if it's short term, long term, because, we never know what tomorrow will be. Sometimes things can get really quick, sometimes it can take more time. So, but I would say in my career overall, of course, I would love to sign with a major company, like TV company, whether if it's WWE has a special place in my heart because they keep like seeing me through, my evolution, and they saw me grow in the business because I had like my first tryout when I had only 10 matches, and then went back to NXT UK, and then went back last year to, extra work and stuff. So they've been seeing me all the way long, like through my career. So it has a special place in my heart, like it's meaningful. Also because it's the first company I started watching wrestling with. Um, but then I'm not, close to any other position and opportunity. If it's like another company, I will be super happy. So yeah, I would say I would love to be on TV every week. That's for sure. Now, if I ever need to stay on the indie because, we never know what life can bring, I would keep just on traveling the world and do my thing. Like I have place I had never been and I really want to go there, like Mexico, Canada, China. I never been to China. I would love to go there. Been like I want to go back to Japan. There's always something to do in wrestling. You never get bored. Just keep building your brand and just make the most of it and enjoy every second of it because we never know when it ends.
For sure.
Hey, you. Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons, and the Fans View podcast, we'll see you next time.
Sure. We got to get you over here to the States as well.
Yeah.
Have a nice run over here.
Oh, hell yeah. Whenever you want.
I love that. I like to ask this question, especially when I have a woman on, because I feel like it just kind of hits different. But if you could give a piece of advice, maybe there's a little girl out there that's watching this that's like kind of on the fence. Like, what advice do you have for young women that want to break into this crazy wrestling business?
As you mentioned, it's crazy wrestling business. First, I would say do not quit school. Like, just go all the way. Like, as long as your brain can take it, just go to school and make your diplomas, make your stuff. Like, for the girls who are in Europe and it's not English is not their mother language, I would say practice your English, learn. Without English, you can't go anywhere. Even if you're good, like doors can shut to your face even if you're really good because of communication. So that's really important. Go to the gym. Gym. It doesn't matter about like it's not just about the look because everybody looks different. Everybody's unique. So it's not about that. It's about protecting your body and it's about protecting like build muscles to protect your body from the bumps and from the striking, from everything that we handle in the ring. So go to the gym, be careful what you eat. And, health comes first and it starts with what you eat and how you train. So go there. Now, about business in general, I would say it's not just about business because it's something that is society, you know, promoting right now. And I see all over social networks. I would say, because when you're a young lady, you're really influenceable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, don't ever think that you need absolutely to show your skin or to show everything about your body to feel sexy and beautiful and feel like you worth it or, you don't need to seek validation through that. Like, you don't have to do it. If you're a grown-ass woman and you want to do stuff, like, do your thing. I'm not judging at all. I'm just saying, as a young lady, because we usually looking for herself, searching who we are and stuff at that age, especially teenagers and stuff. Do not get too influenced by all the girls who make a lot of money with, platforms or whatever, because you won't make the same amount of money necessarily, first of all, because they have like a lot of fans and followers already. So be careful about that. Don't believe everything you see on social networks. And that's why I say, you don't need to do it. That's not the only option you have to feel like feminine and beautiful.
Because the internet is forever.
Oh, yeah. Be careful.
Something you brought up that wasn't even in my questions or my notes, but I'd love to talk to you about is you said if English isn't your first language, learn it because that language barrier will shut more doors for you than you realize. Obviously, your English is amazing. Is professional wrestling at all the reason that you learned English, or did you already were you already involved in learning the English language before that?
So in France, we start learning in middle school. So I went around like 11. Um, but I already thought and knew I wanted to be a pro wrestler. So since I could start learning English. I just, put a lot of effort into it because I knew that it would be something necessary for me. And then when I went to high school, I had like a high school diploma in literature and all that. So I could do a lot of options in English. So I put like different topics only full English. And but it was still a bit too scholar. So it gives you a good base, but it's still just school, right? So you need to just go out there and practice because that's how you learn a language. It's just by practicing and talking to people and writing and stuff. So I would say slang was the reason I got more involved and put more effort into learning at school. But it was
Right.
also like the reason why I speak and I can be understood right now because, with just pro wrestling by traveling the world and talking to people and making mistakes. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes because everybody does and it's okay.
Right.
That's how you
I
learn.
love that. I love that so much. Yeah, obviously I stumbled all over that question. I'm so glad you understood what I was trying to say. Um, because yeah, that's crazy that, professional wrestling kind of pushed you to practice the English language a little bit more. And like I said, your English is fantastic. I just
Thank
want to give you
you.
props for that.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
and as like I said, as we kind of finish this thing off, I have two questions that I love to ask everyone. They're my favorite two questions. Number one being, this is called the Fans View Podcast because I'm just a fan. What are you a fan of when you're not in the ring?
Wow, that's a question. That's a question. If it's not, okay, I won't count any type of work because I started doing stunts for movies and stuff, so it's still work. So, okay, besides work, it takes so much time in my life. Like, I don't, I like creative stuff. Like, I'm gonna be starting doing like handmade soap, homemade soap. And like, I like homemade stuff, DIY stuff. I like, homemade candles. I like, soap. I like jewelry. I like all that. And I also love like all beauty stuff, like makeup and all that. But I would say like, yeah, creative stuff or like another passion, something I like really doing.
That's super super cool. We're gonna have to clip that too. I can't tell you how many weirdos would be willing to buy soap from a pretty girl. Oh,
Good,
let's
make
let's
some
get you
money.
let's get you yeah, let's get you paid. Come on now. um, I love that though, because you wouldn't necessarily see you, the badass, in the
Making
ring
soaps
bleeding
in my
like
kitchen.
yeah, just over here, just making soap, just chilling out, hanging out, putting the cat over, making some soap. That's all.
That's it.
My last question. This is kind of, you know, this question I feel like kind of gets to know people at their deepest. And that question is, at this point, not only of your career but of your life in general. Obviously, you're still a young woman. What do you define success as?
Wow. It's like that's a good question. Because it means something different for everybody. It's like being
Yes.
rich. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to be rich. Okay, but how rich? Like a lot of people want to be rich with money. Right now I can tell you I'm rich. I'm not rich with money. Hell no. But I'm rich with, a lot of things. I got a roof on top of my head. I got food in my fridge. I got heater on winter. I got a family. I got, a life that I love and a job that I love. So I'm rich to me. So success is about a bit the same thing. For me, I think Well, when I started, I thought success was just being signed by WWE. All right. And then, of course, it's still a goal of mine, but it's not the definition of success anymore. And for me, it's still
Right.
something on my bucket list or something I want to achieve, but I don't see it the same way as I used to see it when I started, when I was a rookie. I would say for me, success is living my whole life doing the stuff that I love, having less regrets as possible when I get old, and just try everything I want to try. Just live my life and be like happy as possible and just do the things that I enjoy by staying myself. Because like this business is like, hardest business in general, and TV and all that. It can change a lot of people, and it's either it changes you for the better, for the best, or for the worst. There's not a lot of in between. So I would say for me, success is going through everything in my life by staying myself and true to my values and to my education and who I am.
I love that answer so much. I always love asking that question, and very rarely am I disappointed. Mila, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. I feel like you kind of casually dropped your stunt woman credential in there, and I'm like, man, we could do another podcast strictly on your stunt work and things like that. I mean,
We can have
we're
different
definitely
episodes. Like, I'm really happy to do it.
1000%. I was already going to tell you we have to have a part 2 for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Where can people get a hold of you? On Instagram, you mentioned your TikTok, things like that.
Yeah, I'm usually on Instagram and TikTok. I don't use a lot of platforms. I have them, but I don't use them that much. I'm more on Instagram and TikTok, yeah, for sure.
Okay, and what are those handles?
Sorry?
What are those handles? What's your TikTok and Instagram
It's
name?
Mila Michelle Smidt. You're gonna find me there.
Okay. And do you like sell 8x10s or t-shirts or anything like that online?
Yes. So right now I have t-shirts. I do have 8x10s. I do have collection cards. They are numbered and they're all signed. So
Awesome.
like I have a
And
lot
where
of
can
them
people get
still.
those?
Sorry?
Where can people get those?
Oh, you can just DM me on like Instagram or TikTok, wherever, through platforms, and I'm just gonna get back to you and we can do that. Let's go.
I love that. And she will get back to you guys. She will get back to
Yes,
you.
I'm
I
gonna get back
promise
to
you.
all of you. And also, right now, I mean, I just ordered it today, so it's gonna arrive like during September, okay? So, and then I'm gonna start doing soap, and then keychains should arrive soon. So I'm gonna be doing a little package with the soap and keychains on it with a kiss card.
Heck yeah, I love that. See, you little weirdos, go buy her soap. Go and normal people too. Please go buy her soap. But I know
Please,
you little
I'm in for
weirdos.
everyone.
I know you little weirdos are watching this and want the soap. So let's just get her all the money so she can come over to the States and wrestle. It works out for everybody. Mila, like I said, thank you so much for coming on, and we're definitely going to do a part
Thank
2
you
of
for
this.
having me.
Guys, make sure to go follow her on Instagram and TikTok. We're going to make sure to link everything below. And like she said, if you want to reach out for an 8x10, a picture, a t-shirt, a keychain, soap, shoot her a DM on that Instagram page, and she'll get back with you guys. We appreciate you, Mila. We appreciate you guys watching. And don't forget, guys, most importantly, call your mom.